Today, we're going on an epic journey through the world of advanced micro devices, better known as AMD, exploring not only the ups and downs of its stock but also the complex geopolitical and competitive forces shaping its future. If you're an investor or just a tech enthusiast, buckle up as we unravel how U.S. export restrictions and a potential price war with Intel might create chaos in the semiconductor arena. Plus, we'll talk about what financial analysts are saying and what you should be thinking now that AMD stock is sitting in the $80 plus. Grab your popcorn because this ride is going to be as thrilling as a blockbuster action movie. Before we jump into the thick of export restrictions and price wars, let's set the stage with a quick overview of AMD's current position. Right now, AMD stock is trading in the $80 plus. It might seem like a bargain to those who remember the dizzying highs of $225 and the analyst optimism averaging around $145.51 over the next year. But there's more than meets the eye. AMD has long been a trailblazer in the semiconductor space. Founded in 1969, it's always had that scrappy, underdog spirit, a bit like the Rocky Balboa of the tech world. Despite stiff competition and even a few setbacks, AMD has managed to reinvent itself, especially under the leadership of CEO Lisa Su, who turned the company's fortunes around like a master chef whipping up a perfect meal. However, not all is smooth sailing. Today's discussion isn't just about past glories, it's about the future. U.S. export restrictions and the China conundrum. Let's talk about a hot topic in tech news: U.S. export restrictions. Recently, there's been chatter that the U.S. government might tighten export rules on advanced semiconductor technologies. Now you might wonder, why would restricting exports be a problem for a chip maker like AMD? Imagine you're a popular restaurant that sources a secret ingredient from abroad. Suddenly your government says, "Sorry, you can't import that ingredient anymore because it's too sensitive." You'd have to scramble to find alternatives, or worse, serve a diluted version of your signature dish. That's a bit like what these export controls could do to AMD's business in China. China is one of AMD's key markets. A significant portion of its revenue, and a little hint of that tech spice, comes from selling chips to Chinese companies. If the US clamps down on these exports, AMD might be forced to sell weaker versions of its products that comply with the restrictions, which in turn could lead to a drop in prices and, ultimately, lower revenues. Imagine having to downgrade your prized sports car to an economy model just to obey the rules. Not exactly the dream ride, right? Notably, export restrictions have been used as a tool to keep advanced technology away from foreign adversaries. In our case, the goal is to prevent China from getting its hands on high-performance AI chips that could bolster its military might. But here's the twist. While these restrictions aim to safeguard national security, they also create a dilemma for companies like AMD that depend on global markets. It's a classic case of damned if you do, damned if you don't. In trying to protect sensitive tech, the US might inadvertently choke off business for companies that are working hard to innovate and grow. By the way, if you are benefiting from the content so far and want more like this, like the video, it means much to me. Hit the subscribe button, turn on the notifications bell, and comment the word more. Just go ahead and type the word more so I know. Now that you have commented, let's continue. Competitive pressure, Intel's price war warning. As if the export conundrum wasn't enough, AMD now faces a fierce competitor, Intel. We've all possibly seen the intense rivalry between AMD and Intel. It's like watching two heavyweight boxers trading punches in a ring. Recently, sources have been swirling that Intel might enter into aggressive pricing tactics to regain market share, essentially triggering a price war in the semiconductor world. Picture this. Intel is like that sneaky competitor in your local market who starts slashing prices so low that suddenly even the bargain bin looks expensive. If Intel starts cutting prices on its processors, AMD may feel pressured to follow suit just to stay competitive. Now, while lower prices might seem like a win for consumers, for AMD it could mean thinner margins and a squeeze on profitability. It's like running a lemonade stand but having to lower your price per cup just because a rival nearby starts selling lemonade at almost nothing. Eventually, you both end up with very little profit, and that's not the recipe for long-term success. The potential for a price war is serious because it could force AMD to make difficult strategic choices, either lower prices, which can eat into profit margins, or risk losing market share to a well-priced competitor like Intel. And, as the saying goes, in war there are no winners. Investors could end up caught in the crossfire if AMD's margins start to shrink considerably. Analyst projections, the UPS, the downs, and everything in between. Now let's add another dimension to our analysis. According to projections from 41 financial analysts, the one-year average target price for AMD stands at $145.51. But hold on to your seats. Those targets span from a high of $225 to a low of $90. This wide range tells us one thing: there's a huge diversity of opinions about where AMD is headed. Some analysts are extremely optimistic, predicting that AMD could hit as high as $225. They're likely banking on a scenario where the company not only overcomes the export restrictions and stiff competition but also benefits from major advancements in AI, gaming, and data center technology. Think of them as the eternal optimists, like that friend who always bets that their favorite sports team will win the championship against all odds. On the flip side, there are analysts who see a potential downtrend, setting a target as low as $90. These pessimistic forecasts might be based on concerns that export restrictions will severely impact Chinese sales, or that a price war with Intel will force AMD to dramatically lower its prices, eroding profit margins. And then there's the middle ground, where the average target of $145.51 represents what many believe is the fair value of AMD's stock if everything goes as expected. If AMD can navigate these choppy waters, balancing compliance with export rules while fending off Intel's aggressive pricing, then reaching something near $145 might be entirely achievable. The key takeaway here is that analysts are divided, and the future of AMD stock is far from certain. It's a bit like predicting the weather in a city known for its microclimates. Some areas might get sunshine, while others are hit by unexpected rainstorms. What should investors do? So here we are. AMD stock is in the $80s right now. With our hearts pounding like during a nail-biting finale of your favorite TV show, you might be wondering, should I buy, hold, or sell? Buy the dip? Some investors might see AMD's current price as a golden opportunity, a discount on a company with strong technological prowess, robust product innovation, and a rich history of bouncing back from adversity. Imagine walking into your favorite pizza joint and discovering that the extra-large, artisanal pie is on sale for the price of a medium. Smart investors might think, this is my chance to stock up before the prices bounce back to normal. Those who are bullish on AMD could argue that despite the short-term challenges posed by export restrictions and potential price wars, the company's long-term fundamentals remain strong. AMD continues to innovate with cutting-edge architectures and is well-positioned in high-growth areas like AI, gaming, and cloud computing. So buying the dip could be a prudent strategy if you believe that these headwinds are temporary, and that AMD will eventually regain its upward momentum. Stay on the sidelines? On the other hand, some investors are understandably nervous about the current risks. The uncertainty surrounding U.S. export controls and the looming possibility of an Intel price war could mean that AMD's stock might experience further volatility. If you're risk-averse or have a short-term investment horizon, it might be wiser to sit this one out until you see more clarity in the market. Think of it like waiting for a storm to pass before trying to set up your tent. You wouldn't want to get soaked and have your equipment damaged by sudden gusts of wind. Hedge your bets. There's also the classic hedge your bets approach. Diversification is the key here. Rather than putting all your eggs in one basket, consider spreading your investments across multiple players in the semiconductor industry. This means not only looking at AMD but also taking a close look at its competitors like Intel, Nvidia, and even some up-and-coming Chinese chipmakers if geopolitical tensions ease. That way, if AMD continues to face challenges, your overall portfolio might still benefit from a rebound in the broader tech sector. For example, you might allocate a portion of your portfolio to AMD if you're confident in its long-term fundamentals, while investing in tech sector ETFs or other semiconductor stocks to cushion against potential setbacks. That's the investment equivalent of not betting all your money on one horse in a race. Instead, you spread your bets across several strong contenders. If we fully obey the Lord, the Creator of heaven and earth, and carefully follow all His commandments, He has promised to set us high above all the nations of the earth. Deuteronomy 28. We shall be blessed when we come in and when we go out. I appeal to you to accept God and let Him be your guide, for He will never leave you nor forsake you. Do not be afraid, do not be discouraged. Deuteronomy 31 verse 8. Want more information? Please check the description section. That's the end for now. If you have watched until the end, drop a comment like this: I stayed until the end. Just comment that I stayed until the end. When I see this comment, I will give you a heart. 3 more favors I request from you. First, like this video, subscribe and then turn on the notifications bell. If you do this, you greatly encourage me to continue bringing to you insightful content. Do not miss out on our future videos full of insight. All I am asking is your subscription. Thanks for joining us today. Your support means so much to us. Do not hesitate to share this video to help someone who may benefit. I recommend that you watch the next video, subscribe to the channel and share your thoughts about today's video. Wish you God's blessings and care. Faith and prayer will do what no power on earth can accomplish. See you in the next video by God's mercy.